Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. This week we're using the new Palladini tarot, and I've got information about that in the description box below. I'm going to take a moment to tune into the day's energy. Please remember that these timeless messages are general. They are for the collective. So take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And of course, I invite you to tune into your own intuition, inner guidance, higher self, spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might receive your own personal messages or insights. Five of Pentacles. Oh, there's fear. Or, I just heard the phrase coming up short. So in one sense, it's the middle of the month. There could be an extra expense or something like that. And you find like you've come up short in something. Or I'm also seeing like supplies for something and trying to get something done, but then either not having like enough support from others, perhaps on a team, or for not having enough supplies to like make a thing. There's just a sense of, I heard coming up short, and I'm seeing these different scenarios in which it could be playing out. It doesn't necessarily have to be with finances, but it could also be with like resources, either supplies or help, physical help from other people. But I'm getting this feeling of not being too worried over it. So if you're discern, if you're in a situation, if something like this comes up, is it the fear that it might happen? Well, I'm going to overcompensate now, so that it's like if you're planning a party and you're not exactly sure, who's all going to come to dinner, right? And you say, well, I invited this many people, and I've gotten this many responses so far, and how many people how much food do I actually need to have on hand? So it's almost like you don't want to come up short, but you don't have to overextend yourself, right? And have too many leftovers, depending upon, who's going to be there. Now, if you can do so comfortably, by all means, because then people can take home leftovers, or, you could share food otherwise, or you could, freeze it and have later, or something like that, right? But sometimes if we're working like on a budget, or if we need to specify to, say, a caterer or something like that, then we've got to be a little bit closer to the actual. We don't want to come up short, but how far are we going to overextend ourselves if we need to stay within a certain budget. We don't want to come up short in another area. So I'm feeling like that similar kind of an energy. I don't know that that's necessarily the actual situation, but I'm feeling like this similar kind of energy of not wanting to come up short, but also not being in a position where you can comfortably overextend yourself in order to make sure that you don't come up short. And that is a projection. You're projecting onto the future a concern that you have about how to balance this out. And so the message about not worrying about it from Spirit is like, try not to logic it out. Try to, when you're going to like make the decision or something of that nature of where you're going to put your resources in a certain fashion, Spirit's kind of like, trust your gut instincts. First answer is usually the right answer in a multiple choice. So in the sense of, don't project. That's what they're asking. Like, make sure that you're discerning between what's actually in front of you and what you might be projecting on the future and trying to prepare yourself for. It's not that you don't have to be prepared, but you also don't have to go to an extreme one way or the other, if that makes sense. So there's definitely, even though it could be dealing with a physical situation or physical quantities or resources, the best way to manage them is not from a place of projecting what would happen if, but rather from intuiting what you think is needed given how the vision is likely to play out, or how you'd like it to play out, if that makes sense. If this is a situation that's right in front of you right now, and you realize, like, I'm short on resources, or I've come up short in this particular area, then the best way to manage what you do have and to move forward is to be centered and grounded in like your gut instincts. If you doubt your actions or the decisions that you want to make, that you think, well, this is the right thing, this is what I feel is the right thing to do in this situation, or I'm intuitively feeling like I shouldn't, then stick with what you're intuitively feeling, what you really feel like the truth is, even if it doesn't look like it, even if there are naysayers around you who say, but you can't, blah, 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 we need to do this, we have to do this, we blah, 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 right? Don't let the outside frantic energies knock you off center or off balance, because Spirit is wanting you to be grounded and be centered and do the best with what you have, again, without projecting into the future. Miracles happen when we open up to them, but not if we're necessarily reaching for them. So there's a moment here about discerning, what are you projecting into the future? How is that affecting your decisions or actions or allocation of resources now? And can you recenter and ground yourself and hear what your intuition has to say about it? And in that way, you won't come up short, because what is necessary will be provided. So today's energy definitely has that feel of balancing resources, whether they be financial or something to do in terms of people or labor or teamwork or time. But the fear of coming up short, or the projection, or the recognition of it, and then thinking like there's something more that you have to do, projecting other things into the future to try and resolve or make up the difference. They're saying that that's going to knock you off. Stay centered, stay grounded when you make your decisions, when you allocate the resources that you have, when you look forward to how are we going to make it work. So there's an encouragement that there could be a situation that comes up today, or an energy that comes up today, that puts you in a state of urgency or a state of lack in some fashion, and asking you to not project things onto the future, but to come back to the present moment and get grounded and listen to your intuition, and act on it, regardless of what others around you might say. I mean, you can take into account good advice from other people. They might give you inspiration and ideas, but ultimately the decision has to come from you trusting your gut instincts and what you know you have the capacity to do. There's a sense of sort of tackling that self-doubt that can sometimes hold us back or cause us to overcompensate in one direction or the other. So with that, I wish you peace and blessings through today. Remember to stay centered and grounded, and don't doubt your intuition or overcompensate for where you feel like there could be something coming up short. But listen to your guidance and trust yourself to do the right thing. Because if you do have faith that doing the right thing will allow something to work out, then the opportunities, the miracles, the resources will then come to you. You're not reaching for them or pushing them away. You're allowing them in because you're doing the best you can in the here and now with what you have. And that's good enough. So there could be a little bit of discomfort, but I know that you've got this, and Spirit knows that you've got this. So by all means, please just keep yourself steady and everything will work out. Lots of peace and blessings. I hope you have a wonderful day despite any challenges that might creep in. I thank you for being here with me, and I definitely look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.